Welcome to Financial Health Channel. A couple of weeks ago, I was listening to some economic show about where we are heading, inflation or deflation. To answer the question, they were debating about the Fed action, comparing it to the previous one. It appeared to me that they were making the same mistake as Jurassic Park, the scientist and entrepreneur who brought back to life the dinosaur. Your Triceratops, Pterodactyl, T-Rex, Brontosaurus are morphologically the same, but the circumstances, the environment in which they were brought back are not the same. These dinosaurs are completely different to the one before their extinction. The scientist and entrepreneur should not have expected them to behave the same way. Guess what? They did not. Chomp chomp. The Fed intervention is not the same as the one of the past. Since 2000, the burst of the dot-com bubble, the Fed intervention evolved. The Fed evolution participated in the acceleration of the demise of the free market economy delusion, the price discovery allowing the most efficient allocation of capital, with the willing collaboration of free entrepreneurs happily accepting our money for free, while we are sticking our tongue out, hoping to catch a drop of opportunity to relieve our impoverishment. Alas, the faucet of wealth redistribution dried out about 40 years ago. Our life, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, professionally, has been impacted by many factors, not only the Fed, since the start of the pandemic. I will attempt to give you a summary of it to have a better idea of our conjuncture. Please see the following slide. On one side, we have the inflation which causes prices to increase. This inflation was triggered by the COVID pandemic lockdown. The effect of this lockdown was a dislocation of the global supply channel fueling the inflation. Once the economy reopened, the demand cannot be met due to the ongoing friction in the global supply channel. Each country manages the COVID in its own way. The lack of multilateral agreement between countries, the logistic transportation company, and the global supply workforce prevent a reduction of this friction. With the lockdown, the economy and the financial market were at a halt. The Fed provided, and still as of today, provide liquidities to the market by purchasing mortgages, government bond, corporate bond through ETF, and effectively putting a psychological stop loss on any asset. The pandemic accelerated the digitalization of the economy as the companies had to adapt to run their day-to-day operation. This brings deflation as most companies can save up to 20% from their expenses by not having to deal with offices and increase the efficiency of their overall operation. The top 20% of the population who have financial assets, real estate, and work in this newly digitized economy have seen the value of their asset and income grow the most. However, they are the ones who tend to spend the least. Their behavior adds to the deflation. The employed have seen their income decrease due to the inflation. They have been priced out of the real estate, unable to accumulate any wealth for the future as the banks exacerbate their predicament by not lending money and closing at times existing credit line as well. Having less money, they consume less, and this has a deflationary effect. The unemployed with reduced unemployment benefit since September 2021 become unemployable since they are being priced out of tech tool, phone, rent, car, gas, transportation, food, health, and education. Being pushed out of the workforce and unable to retrain for a professional reconversion, they cannot spend money that they do not have. This has a deflationary effect. Education reinforces all of these inequalities. The top 20% was able to adapt quickly and accordingly to the new educational setting. Their children were not as affected as the rest of the population. 80% struggle to access the necessary technology for schooling and/or struggle to provide the pedagogic support at home for their children to learn. We have a generation of future unskilled workers who will struggle to be employable for the job of tomorrow. We will have more applicants than there are low-paying jobs available in the service industry. These workers won't have the means to consume. To sum it all up, the Fed provides liquidity to the market and to the banks who decided to get into financial engineering with massive leverage through margin account instead of investing into the company's production capital and their employees. The price of financial assets are out of touch with their underlying economic asset. The Fed needs to send a signal that the flow of liquidity will decrease in order for investment to be redirected to the production of goods and services. If we don't, we will have less and less workers who can consume. If they consume less and the inflation continues for the foreseeable future, we might end up in stagflation. If nothing is done, we might have dinosaur stagflation or worse, wreaking havoc on the economy.